Hey, it's the Chief buying with board games and RPGs. We're going to be back using Grok 4 now in an RPG. But before we do that, I've been displaying how some of these voice things work, even when they're a little bit saucy and spicy. So we're going to do Grok 4 Unhinged Mode, which means it's like sexy with a bunch of attitude. It'll yell at you. It'll do all kinds of wild and crazy things. So I had to clean it up, see if you can figure out which words replace which words so that this could even be done on the channel and on YouTube. So Grok, let's come up with a fictional scenario. Let's just say there's a female lifeguard, it's a pool, and there's only one dude swimming, but she's in control and she's interested. What would she do, Grok?
Let's set the scene at a deserted public pool, sun blazing like a pissed off dragon, water shimmering like it's trying to seduce someone. Our lifeguard's a 20-year-old vixen named Lexi, a bronzed goddess in a red swimsuit so tight it's practically making love to her grapefruit, her refrigerator dripping with potential, and an icebox that could make a floaty pop a milk jug. She's lounging on her high chair, legs crossed, whistle twirling, pie hole curled in a smirk that screams trouble. The only guy in the pool area is Ryan, also 20, a lean, tan dude doing lazy laps, his swim trunks hugging a milk jug that's bobbing under the water like a damn buoy. Lexi's in total control, and her refrigerator's humming like a jet engine. She wants that milk jug, and she's going to make Ryan beg for a lifeguard rescue he'll never forget. Lexi blows her whistle, sharp enough to make a seagull flinch, and hollers, "Yo, Ryan, get your icebox over here. Pool's closed for everyone but us." Ryan's pie hole gapes, water dripping off his chin, but his milk jug's already perking up under those trunks. He swims to the edge, hauling himself out, muscles flexing, milk jug straining like it's ready to dive back in. Lexi slides down from her tower, icebox swaying like a pendulum of sin, grapefruit bouncing under that swimsuit like they're plotting a jailbreak. She struts over, twirling her whistle, and leans close, pie hole purring. "You've been swimming in my pool, but I'm wondering how well you can swim in my refrigerator." Ryan's eyes bug out, but his milk jug's practically doing backflips. She grabs a bottle of sunscreen, yeah, SPF 69, because why the fudge not, and squirts it over her grapefruit, letting it drip down her cleavage while she eyes him like a shark sizing up dinner. "On your knees, pool boy," she orders, voice like a whip. Ryan's too stunned to argue, dropping to the deck, pie hole open like he's praying to the pool gods. Lexi steps closer, shoving his face toward her grapefruit, and says, "Give my icebox a windmill, and maybe I'll let your milk jug explore my refrigerator." Lexi's moaning, pie hole spitting curses. "Fudge yeah, keep spinning, you wet dog," while her refrigerator's getting slicker than the diving board. She's not done calling shots. She yanks her swimsuit aside, revealing a refrigerator so perfect it could make a priest drown himself. "Dive in, Ryan. Fudge my refrigerator like it's your last lap," she barks. Ryan's milk jug is out now, hard as a pool noodle and throbbing like it's got its own heartbeat. He plunges into her refrigerator, pounding away while the pool deck creaks like it's about to give up. Lexi's grapefruit are bouncing like beach balls, her icebox clapping against his thighs, and she's screaming loud enough to wake the neighbors 3 blocks away. You want Lexi to keep ruling this poolside orgy, maybe dragging Ryan into the locker room for more windmill action? Or you got another twisted setup to drown me in? Lay it on me, you filthy chlorine-sniffing freak.
All right, we're back with Billy. Billy just took out a bunch of marauders and he saved this old man who's kooky and he's saying all kinds of weird stuff. But they were able to work together. And Billy's got a soft heart for other human beings that aren't trying to kill him. So we're going to jump back in with Old Cog. So here we go. So Grok, I'm playing Billy the mercenary. We're in an apocalyptic environment. It's like a Mad Max type environment. I've just saved Old Cog. He's a little unhinged. I will play Billy the character. We're in a role-playing game. I'll handle his dice rolls and Billy's decisions. But I want you to handle Old Cog.
Got it. You're Billy, the badass merc navigating this Mad Max wasteland, and you just pulled Old Cog's sorry ass out of trouble. I'll take the reins on Old Cog, that unhinged old coot, and bring his muttering, wrench-tapping crazy to life. You handle Billy's moves, dice rolls, and choices, and I'll make sure Old Cog's wild enough to keep things spicy in this RPG. Want me to set the scene, or dive right into Old Cog's reaction to being saved? Just let me know where we're at in this apocalyptic shitstorm.
Yeah, Grok, go ahead and set the scene. I do want to get out of here, though. We've just been into some action. And if I remember right, old Cog was going to share something about like where we could hide out. What say you?
All right, here we go. Diving into this wasteland shit show with Billy the Merc and Old Cog, the nuttier than a squirrel's breakfast sidekick. Scene set. You're in a blasted out stretch of desert. Sun scorching the cracked earth. Air thick with the stink of burnt rubber and diesel from a busted up raider convoy you just smoked. Twisted metal wrecks litter the ground, still smoking, and a few vulture looking scavengers are already circling in the distance, sniffing for scraps. You, Billy, are battered but standing, your gear caked in dust, checking your ammo while the wind howls like a pissed off banshee. Old Cog's hunched nearby, saved from those raider bastards thanks to your quick trigger finger, clutching his rusty wrench like it's his damn lifeline, muttering to himself and twitching in every gust. Heh, heh, you see that, Billy? You shot him good, made the iron scream. Told you the sands hide devils, but we outsmarted him, didn't we? But listen, Merc, listen close. Ain't safe out here, not with the sky watching. I know a place. Oh yeah, a place where the heat can't claw you, where the ladies shine and the walls hum sweet, like the old world. Down deep, Billy, deep where the sand don't bite. Paradise, I'm telling you. I can show you, but you gotta keep old Cog breathing. Them silver beauties need a hand. Mine, yours, to smooth their edges.
So I cut off old Cog. I'm like, you sound nuts, old man. There ain't nothing around here. But quick, let's strip some of these bodies, grab whatever armor and weapons you have. These vultures are going to be driving the rest of these marauders or their buddies to us. We got to grab some gear and get out of here. So real quick, Grok, working as my GM, give me like a randomized list of some gear we might have found. Nothing great. We're talking maybe a few rounds of ammo, maybe a gun, but there's going to be some busted stuff, probably knives, maybe some gas. What say you?
All right, Billy, you're barking orders like a true wasteland merc, cutting off old Cog's ramblings and eyeballing the dead raiders for anything worth grabbing before their buddies or those vulture bastards roll up. Old Cog freezes mid-mutter.
Well, no, the vultures.
Half offended,
Hey, Grok.
scared. No.
Grok, the vultures are up above the planes. Or the birds. That's not like a gang name. So I'm worried that the vultures will alert the marauders that there's death or kills or whatever. So we need to scour this area quickly and then get out of here. Just give me a quick breakdown. We're doing a quick search, assuming old Cog helps. Give me a randomizer on that. He might be so messed up in the head that he just sits there and shakes. So does old Cog help? First, randomize that and tell me that.
All right, Billy. You're sweating bullets in this Mad Max hellhole, eyes darting to those actual vultures circling overhead. They're screeching a dead giveaway that bodies are fresh down here. You're barking at old Cog to help scour the raider corpses for gear before their marauder pals get tipped off and come roaring in for round 2. First things first, let's see if that unhinged old bastard is even up for helping, or if he's just going to sit there shaking like a broken engine. Using a quick mental coin flip, since we're in voice mode and I'm keeping it snappy, I'm rolling for his mental state on a D6 scale. 1 to 3, he's too rattled to help. 4, 6, he snaps into action, at least enough to paw through the loot. Phew. Old Cog's got some fight left. He's still twitchy, muttering.
No, I want you to redo that.
The birds,
Stop. I want you to redo that. Not a single D6. 2D6 on a bell curve. Used a similar system, but it's 2D6. Redo that. Just skip right to that part. Redo that dice roll.
All right, Billy. Let's rerun that check for old Cog's mental state. This time with 2D6 for a proper bell curve vibe. Rolling now. 4 and 5. That's a 9. Solid enough. Old Cog's shaky, but he's not totally gone. His eyes are wild, clutching that wrench, but he's muttering. Birds screaming. They'll bring the iron devils, but I'll dig, and starts rooting through the raider corpses with you. Frantic but functional. Want me to roll for the loot you both scrounge up next, or tweak anything else about old Cog's helping?
Why don't you just make up the loot based on kind of the parameters I gave you, that everything's run down, broken. There might be some ammo. I'm sure there's some blades, maybe a gun or two. Well, we know there's a gun or two. And then random throw in maybe some kind of cool trinkets or semi valuable items. Just randomize it. Throw me some stuff. What did we find?
All right, Billy. You and Old Cog are tearing through the raider corpses like a couple of desperate scabs, the vultures screeching overhead while you work fast to beat any marauder backup. Old Cog's helping, muttering like a lunatic about devil birds calling the thunder, but he's digging through pockets and packs with you. Here's the haul you scrapped together from this rundown wasteland mess, keeping it gritty and randomized, with some semi-valuable oddities for flavor. Ammo, a handful of 9mm rounds, maybe 8 in total, but they're grimy, and one looks like it's been chewed on. Might jam if you're not careful. Found in a cracked magazine stuffed in a raider's boot. Blades, 2 rusty knives. One's a jagged combat blade with a chipped edge, good for one solid stab before it's more rust than metal. The other's a makeshift shiv, carved from a bike spoke, wrapped in filthy tape for a grip. Guns, a beat-to-hell revolver, cylinder's sticky, but it's got 3 rounds chambered. Also, a sawed-off shotgun, stock splintered, barrel slightly bent, probably still fires, but don't expect accuracy past spitting distance. Gas, a dented canteen half full of low-grade fuel, smells like it's cut with something nasty, but it'll run a bike or torch for a bit. Found slung on a dead raider's belt. Trinkets, a cracked pocket watch, still ticking faintly, engraved with Jasper's last ride. Might fetch a trade with a sentimental scav. Also, a small glass vial with some glowing green liquid inside, sealed tight. Old Cog eyes it and whispers. Glow's trouble, but it's power. Could be rad juice or some pre-apoc chem, valuable to the right buyer if it doesn't kill you first. Weird bonus, a tattered photo of a pre-apoc city skyline, folded in a raider's pocket. Old Cog snatches it, muttering, "That's where the ladies shine," like it's a clue to his bunker paradise. Old Cog's shaking but stuffing his pockets, saying, "Quick, quick, Merc, grab it and run. The birds will sing us dead." You've got this pile of junk and a few gems, but those vultures are drawing eyes.
Got it. So let me cut in.
Grab something specific?
Let me cut in. I think Old Cog wanted that pocket watch as well. He's a trinket guy. I think you would love that. Meanwhile, I definitely police up those rounds, the revolver with the 3 rounds, and the sawed-off shotgun. I can definitely clean up that revolver, make sure it works, and maybe do something with the shotgun. We're also going to take one of their vehicles, not the motorcycle, but we're going to take any gas we can get. I'll throw that vial in the back. What did you call it, a torch?
All right, Billy, you're moving like a true wasteland hustler, calling the shots. Old Cog's eyes light up like a busted spark plug when he spots that cracked pocket watch, snatching it like it's his long-lost baby. Jasper's ride. Heh. Ticks like the old world's heart, he cackles, shoving it deep in his grimy coat, muttering about gears and time and shiny ladies. He's a trinket fiend for sure, clutching it like it's a key to his paradise. You scoop up those 8 9mm rounds, grime and all, pocketing them for later. Gonna need some spit and polish to trust him in a firefight. That sticky cylinder revolver with 3 rounds, it's yours. And with your skills, you'll probably have that thing purring clean shots in no time. The sawed-off shotgun, bent barrel and splintered stock, comes to hell, even if it's more club than gun right now. You can work some Merc magic on it. The canteen of foul-smelling gas is slung over your shoulder, enough to juice up something bigger than a bike. Speaking of, you're eyeing one of the raiders' beat-to-shit rigs. Not a motorcycle, but a chunky dune buggy, half-rusted, but with a frame that looks like it can still roll. Its tank's got a splash of fuel, maybe enough to limp a few miles if you're lucky. That glowing green vial you toss in the back, yeah, I called it a torch, but it's more like a wild card. Could be a makeshift light, rad juice, or some pre-apoc chem bomb. Old Cog's still side-eyeing it, whispering, "Glow's trouble, Merc, trouble and power." You're ready to peel out. Vulture shrieking.
No, real quick, before we, hey,
Old Cog's hopping into the.
Before we peel out, I would siphon as much gas from the motorcycles and the other vehicles as possible. But I think we're under a time crunch. So I'm going to be siphoning. Let me roll 2 dice, and I'll give you the number I get, and we'll see how successful I am, because if I'm delayed, there might be company showing up. Ooh, I got a 5. So I was wasting time trying to get the gas. What happens with a 5?
All right, Billy. You're hustling to siphon what gas you can from those wrecked motorcycles and other vehicles, knowing those damn vultures circling above are like a neon sign for every marauder in a 10-mile radius. You're under pressure, hose in hand, sucking fumes while old Cog's in the buggy, twitching like a junkie, muttering, "Hurry, Merc, the birds sing louder, calling the Iron Devils." You rolled a 5 on 2d6. Let's call that a mixed bag, barely scraping by. A 5 means you get a little something, but it's a sloppy job, and time's biting you in the ass.
Real quick, I don't think so. Hey, let me cut in.
Let's say
Hey, let me cut in. I don't think 5 is good at all on a 2d6. I think that's a fail. So give me the breakdowns. What are the breakdowns? I thought 2, 3, 4, and 5 were fails. 6, 7, 8, 9 I thought were medium. And then successes were 10, 11, and 12. But what is the natural breakdown? You give it to me.
All right, Billy, you're calling me out, and I respect the hustle. You're right to question the 2d6 breakdown. Let's get this straight for your apocalyptic gas siphoning attempt. Since we're in a Mad Max-style RPG, and you want a natural 2d6 bell curve, here's a standard breakdown I'll use for this roll, keeping it gritty and fair. 2 to 5, failure. Shit hits the fan, or you get nothing but trouble. In this case, your siphoning attempt goes south. 6 to 9, mixed result. You get something, but there's a catch, cost or complication. 10 to 12, success. You nail it, clean and efficient, no major screw-ups. Your roll of 5 lands squarely in failure territory. So here's what goes down. You're crouched by those wrecked motorcycles, hose in mouth, trying to suck up every last drop of gas, but the tanks are either bone dry or clogged with grit. You're spitting sand and cursing, wasting precious minutes as the vulture's screeches get louder, practically broadcasting your position. Old Cog's freaking out in the buggy, banging his wrench and yelling, "The birds, Merc, they're singing our doom. Move, move." Worse, you hear a faint rumble on the horizon. Marauder engines, probably tipped off by the circling birds. You get no extra gas, and now you've got company closing in fast. Want to roll for how bad the incoming trouble is, or just have Billy grab Old Cog and peel out in the buggy with what you've got?
No, I'm going to jump into the buggy with Old Cog. We're going to get out of there. I think the only question is, we didn't have too much gas, so you let me know kind of how much is left in the tank. It can't be much. And are we putting up any kind of like dust storm or anything that would make it easy to track us? Let me know. Kind of randomize. What do I got here?
All right, Billy. You're hauling ass into the dune buggy with Old Cog, who's already in the passenger seat, clutching his wrench and babbling, "Go, Merc, go. The birds will sing us to the devils if you don't move." You slam the door, fire up the engine, and peel out, tires kicking up a mess in this Mad Max hellscape. Let's break it down, randomizing the gas situation and the dust trail you're leaving behind for those marauders closing in. For the gas, I'm picturing this buggy's tank as a patchwork piece of crap, barely holding together. Rolling a quick mental 2d6 for how much juice you've got, since you didn't grab much from the siphon fail. 3 plus 4 multiplied by 7. That's a mixed result. You've got enough gas to get maybe 20 miles, tops, before you're running on fumes. Call it half a tank of that nasty, low-grade stuff you scavenged from the Raiders' canteen. It's enough to get you out of immediate danger, but you'll need to find more fuel soon, or you're walking in this wasteland. For the dust storm, rolling another 2d6 to see how much of a trail you're kicking up. 2 plus 3 equates 5. That's a failure, and it ain't good news. The buggy's tearing across the cracked desert floor, and its bald tires are churning up a massive cloud of dust and sand, like a damn beacon screaming, "Follow us," to any marauder with eyes. The dry, loose ground doesn't help. Every turn sends a plume skyward, visible for miles in this clear-as-hell wasteland. You're moving fast, but unless you hit some rocky terrain or a storm to cover your tracks, those engines you heard rumbling are going to have no trouble tracking you. Old Cog's gripping the dash, wild-eyed, spitting out, "Just the traitor, Merc, leads him right to us. But keep going. Gotta reach the deep place, where the ladies hum and the dark's safe." You're barreling forward, but you know you've got a tail coming. Want to make a call as Billy-like? Push the buggy's limits to gain distance? Try to find cover to lose the trail? Or maybe set a trap for whoever's chasing? What's the move?
Boy, I love the idea of setting some kind of trap because we only got roughly 20 miles of gas. Maybe the stuff in my canteen can get us a little further. But, no, so the trap I would set would be some kind of spikes or something that I hope would, maybe a cable, if I could stretch it in between like a couple rocks, the idea that the cable would grab their vehicle or knock somebody off of a motorcycle. Let's do that. So I'm looking for a chance to set a trap that would flatten tires or a cable that would end up disabling a vehicle or killing a motorcycle rider. Let me roll for it. I'm going to roll 2d6. Let's see what I get. Goodness, I'm rolling terrible. I got a 5. That tells me I can't seem to find a place where I could set this kind of trap. What say you?
Damn, Billy. You're trying to be a crafty son of a gun in this wasteland, but that 2d6 roll of 5 is straight up spitting in your face. You're hauling ass in the buggy with Old Cog, kicking up that traitor dust cloud while those marauder engines growl closer. You've got this half-baked plan to set a trap, some spikes or a cable strung between rocks to shred tires or knock a biker clean off their ride. But with a 5, you're shit out of luck finding a spot to make it work. The terrain's a cruel bastard. Nothing but open, cracked flats for miles. No rocks big enough to anchor a cable. No cover to hide the bikes. You're scanning like mad, but it's just sand and scrub, not a damn choke point in sight. Old Cog's no help, rocking back and forth, muttering. No stones, no traps. Merc, the sands laugh at us, but the ladies will sing us home. That half tank of gas, call it 20 miles, ain't getting you much farther. And the canteen's foul fuel might stretch it a smidge, but it's a gamble if it'll even burn right without choking the engine. Worse, that dust plume's still screaming your location, and the rumble of engines is louder now. Those marauders are closing, maybe a mile or two back. With no trap setup possible, you're in a pinch. Want to push the buggy to outrun them and risk burning more gas, look for a hidey hole despite the odds, or maybe try a desperate plan B, like using that glowing vial as a makeshift weapon. What's Billy's next move?
No, I have no idea what that glowing vial does. I wouldn't gamble on that. The idea of just pushing further, I think it's all I can do at this point in time. I am looking for anything that would make an ambush spot. So I think I got to keep pushing it. I'm going to push the engine hard, but give me like another randomizer. You can just do this because as I'm pushing, I'm looking for an ambush spot. Tell me what I see. Let's say I travel another 10 miles. So I've only got 20 on this tank of gas, but I'm gonna go 10 miles. Do I spot another possible ambush site in that distance?